Hey, P.
Oh, tat.
OC, you got them OGs up there.
I got a new man. New man. What's happening?
What's going on? How y'all living?
What up, boy? What's happening? Home team?
You good?
How the family, man?
Everybody good. Everybody good.
That's awesome, dog.
Shit, he was
So you just finally, so you went to Speedy?
Man, I had to real slick,
Bro,
man.
come on, man.
I know it. I
You
told him
supposed
to
to
come, you know.
Nah, you supposed to have the camp look.
I tried. Y'all almost got me.
Y'all be a good looking dude.
No, you went to Speedy?
I can't let that keep happening. All these interviews keep happening. I got the camp look. You know what I mean?
He texted me too. He said he gonna text me talking about, yeah, man, Kayvon, he on the way. He be there in a second. And I was like, Speedy, I know he ain't gonna get no haircut.
You allowed to have the camp look in camp?
You know, we got big things off the field, man.
I see.
Gucci play you to stay fresh like that? Them
You know, they ain't pay me yet, but
Yeah.
it's sweat equity right now.
I got it. You always fresh though. Who your stylist?
Shit, me. I don't have no stylist. We going? We rolling?
It's always rolling.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
We actually looking for somebody for him.
I don't need nobody. You looked over here already.
However, yeah,
I don't
man,
need
listen, this how
nobody.
you feel, man.
When he looked over there, what'd he saw? Because you say he
I
looked
saw
over.
you. His
shook
eyes,
his head.
his eyes wide up.
Y'all dressed like me, man, all black with a little bit of color. That's how I do it. You know, not too much.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.
Welcome to the show, man. Kayvon Thibodeaux. This is Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark. Welcome to the Pivot, a part of Fanatics. I've known you a while. I got to see you at the opening, #1 player in the country in your class, and things sort of go according to plan, right? You go to Oregon, you become the 5th overall pick of the draft. You said personally that year 1 film disgusted you, right? And then obviously year 2, you started to make an impact, 11.5 sacks. Your goal for this year is pretty simple. You said it was greatness. What will define greatness for you in year 3?
I think it's how you play. You know, as simple as that. After being with the Giants for 3 years now, you start to meet, you know, a lot of greats and a lot of people who played the game the right way. And you sit and you try to ask the right questions. You try to give them the right, you know, insight about yourself, you know, and how you're going to do this next season. And then you got to sit back and you realize, like, what component surprises or what component does a great actually care about, you know? And then the underlying factor has been how you play, right? The style, playing hard. When you look at all the greats, when you look at, you know, everybody that's come before me, the only thing that separated the good from the great was how they played down in and down out. So for me, I think that's what's gonna get the respect I want and I see for myself, and that's what's gonna help, you know, keep my legacy on the right path.
Was it injury? Was it scheme? Or was it you?
No, it's definitely me. It's always me because I'm the one on the field, you know, playing. There's obviously statistics about, you know, I was the first guy with double-digit sacks in that certain system of defense. So don't get me wrong, there is schematical things that are factors. But when you look at the grand scheme of, you know, how I've done so far, it's all been me. I've been a guy who has consistently analyzed, you know, the type of player I want to be and how to get there. And when you first come in the league, you know, there's always that idea that you got talent and you got hard work. And right in the middle is where, like, greatness lies. And it's like, if you're too far with the talent, then you forget about the hard work. You're too far on hard work, then, you know, the talent may not supersede. But I think for me, it's, you know, it's finding that gray area and holding myself accountable, you know, when the games get tough, you know, end of the year.
Along the lines of what Channing was saying, you were a top pick, you had those 4 sacks, then you had some injuries in your rookie year. Did the media make it more frustrating for you hearing what they had to say? Well, the New York media.
So that's what's funny about it. No, because I'm from LA, so the media stuff, that was, we've been on camera since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't mad about it. I wasn't frustrated. I think it's just tough. No one really knows football other than the people that are playing and the people who've played it. So that part is like, it's a lot of hoopla out there, but, just staying focused. That's the main thing that helped me kind of break through it. In my first year, I was able to even get 4 sacks, and make some big plays. In my second year, being able to kind of build momentum and carry it out. But this year's just finding, little things each week and being intentional, and just continuing to grow.
You have always been outspoken. You mentioned being from LA and being comfortable in front of the camera. You've always been extremely comfortable. I remember some of your interviews pre-draft, sitting on set with you at ESPN, and when you leave, all the people behind the scenes saying, okay, he'll do this job one day. Just saying how polished you were young, but also a part of that process was people questioning your effort. Mm-hmm. And there were also conversations about your character, which to me didn't make sense, but I knew you a little bit more than some of the people who were analyzing your college film. How did that affect you at that time? And how hard have you had to work to dispel those things through the way you carry yourself away from the field and the way you play each day?
So it's funny, I had these conversations with my peers, and when you are talking about the successes you have, when you talk about your motion with people who don't have motion, it seems like you're gloating or you're,
right.
know, but it's like, in all honesty, I'm just talking about what I got going on. So for me, I just had to continue to evaluate my circle, evaluate how I'm being held accountable, evaluate, how can I be really direct with how I interact with people, right? And understanding that like every interaction you have is a testament to your legacy. So once I kind of filtered that, of course, I mean, everybody has their own opinions and everything else. But for me, I was always a guy who was a stand for something or fall for anything, So I was always going to stand for something. And the hard part about having an opinion or choosing a side is that you have to choose a side. Nowadays, a lot of young people are, okay with being in just being in third person. For me, I always like to choose a side and kind of stand front line on that.
So for me, I look at you and I feel like you can move in different circles, right? You can sit up here with us and have a conversation. You can be in meetings with CEOs and have conversation. Work with Chase Bank and bring financial literacy to your old high school. So you have found a way that you're able to relate to a ton of people. And I think a lot of that deals with your upbringing. You transferred from Dorsey to Oak Christian, and you were going to school in a place where the median income was $112,000. When you left a place and the median income there was $32,000. What was that transition like for you to go from where you were born and raised to now being in a place that gave you a better opportunity to succeed in life, but it was around a different group of individuals than you had grown?
So it was like a double-edged sword where you have survivor's remorse from being afforded a great education, great resources, mentors that had more resources, had more experiences because of sport, right? So I had that, I was woke real young, They say that the earlier you're woke, the longer you live. So I was woke real young, and it kind of weighed heavy on me, seeing everything I was afforded because of what I could do in sport. So that kind of put a chip on my shoulder as I started to go through my processes. And I think when you look at, the difference and why, for me, I've cut out a lot of BS and a lot of coonery out of my life, right? And I say that because we have to analyze the cards we're dealt, and we have to make the best decisions with them. Being at Dorsey, being in the inner city, and, just understanding how many athletes, how many kids, how many young men and women are not just looked over, but they're dealt the wrong cards and they have no, understanding of how to play them. That hurts, especially when they look like you, talk like you. And then, so now, fast forward some years later, I've been able to set goals, and that's been my whole life. Like it's not a rags to riches story, but it's a set goals and accomplish them and set more goals, right? Because that's how we've all, have been able to accomplish our dreams. So I've just been setting goals, and now that I'm in a position with a platform, I just try to continue to, use the resources I have to be a light for the kids that, come from my area.
How do you walk that line of, I'm with you, we all been through it, survivor's remorse, where, oh man, you made it now. They act like it's a lot. Like you hit the lottery. Man, I worked hard to get this bread. But that line to walk where people will take advantage of you.
Yeah.
But also you do want to help out your people. You do want to help out your community. Like that tight line. And you a young dude too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all old here.
Tough.
We damn near double your age. You a young dude walking that line, being as young as you are.
It's tough. It's like being a rookie, man. When I first realized, it's like I got to distance myself. That's the whole thing when you're in college. You go to college, you go away. It's like, all right, you're in this bubble. You got to eliminate as many variables as possible, right? So whether it's the homies, whether it's distractions, whether it's this, whether it's that, it's like, all right, I got to eliminate that, be where my feet are, and do what can help me in the long run, right? And now that I am where I am now, you look at it and it's like, okay, you can't run from who you are, where you come from, or the problems that, we have to deal with. So it's like, you got to find a way to deal with them, And then you probably all have went through it, just the burden of trying to create a life for the people around you. You can't. Essentially, you can't, no matter what it is. I think the answer at the root of all our problems is education. Maybe not all our problems, obviously, but
a ton of them.
A ton of them is education. So that's another pillar that it's like, for me, I'm dying hard on education. I'm a die on that hill, because it's like, no matter how much money we have in the now, it's not what you have, it's what you do with it, right? And if we're not equipped with the tools to do something with it, we'll just continue to lose it. So for me, I had to get away, and I had to educate myself even more from a adult perspective, because now it's like, yeah, I'm a college kid going through, I'm making money and I'm doing this, but it's like, okay, now I have to talk about life insurance with my family. Now I have to talk about wills and 401ks and what's the insurance plan. I've talked more insurance in the past 2 years than I've ever talked in my life, and I never understood it.
It's called getting old, brother.
It's called getting old, and
Yes,
it's like
sir.
the faster you can understand it, the easier, it will be to, continue to push everybody in the right direction.
We've all been afforded opportunities leaving high school to select a college.
I got to pick my college? What you mean?
Hey, so when y'all get old, y'all still be talking about people didn't have offers and stuff?
Yeah, like what? That's crazy, right?
But not everyone is.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's still a difference, though, right? Like you have top recruits that you
Was
can
any
just
of
lay
y'all
out.
was any of y'all drafted top 5?
He was
No,
nine.
number 9.
Ah, damn.
He was a preferred walk-on.
Yeah.
You can't be preferred walk-on in the league. Like, that's not a thing.
So we just practiced against Detroit, and I heard somebody on the other side like, I got drafted top 10. You blessed to be with me. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I'm like, damn, that's a good one.
That
I feel
does
you.
make a lot of sense, but no, we all we had options.
Yeah.
You were the number 1 player in the entire country. So for me, you could have stayed home, went to USC. You could have went anywhere, but you chose Oregon. Going back to what you were saying about having to get away, like, was that like a big part of your decision? Like, why did you choose to go to Oregon of all the places that you could have gone?
So I grew up right next to USC, right? Like right there, Martin Luther King Boulevard, like right in the mix. And when you look at the time, when you looked at USC, there were so many guys that I knew personally that didn't reach their potential. And whether it be distractions, whether it be, whatever it is, Oregon was not too far, not too close, right? Where you can get away, but family still get there. I had offers all over, went to Florida State, Alabama. Those were too far. Right. I'm an LA kid, and you stand out when you're in the South a little bit. So you notice I talk a lot already, so being down there, they weren't gonna take too kindly to my kind. But,
My kind.
Yeah, my kind. But it was definitely, some great experiences going down South. But at the end, my plan was to, one, at that time, do sports broadcasting. And, there was this rumor going around that if you went to Oregon, you'd have a chance to work at Nike, right? And that was one of the biggest brands I knew. I knew DeAnthony Thomas was a guy coming out of LA. So for me, it was like, I could do what I want for my career, which is have an opportunity to play young, get developed, and then get education. And then from there, you know, they have my major and things like that as far as journalism, sports broadcasting, marketing, and then, you know, Phil Knight and the rest.
You know, you talked a lot about what you could create away from the field, even as an extremely young man. I think to me that was one of the more impressive things about you, even though, you know, you end up being a top 5 pick and everyone expected you to be that, even going into the last year before injuries and all of those things. Something I read about your visit to Dorsey when you did the thing with Chase Bank was one of the young ladies said, the thing I take away from today is I want to be somebody for somebody. And I thought that was amazing for a young person to say. It's when Kayvon Thibodeaux goes back to Dorsey, you are somebody to a lot of people. And for that young lady to say that she took that away from your program, what does that saying in itself mean to you? And how good does it feel that you were able to impart something like that onto her?
Be somebody to somebody. That's how I got here today, right? I had somebody who was a figure in my life. We all, you know, have missing pieces in our life, and God puts people along our journey to help fill those pieces. And I think it's up to us as the young people to continue to ask those questions, reach out to the mentors, to the people, you know, who pour into us and appreciate it. So, you know, having her appreciate it and be woke, you know, woke was a word of 2020. It was like most used word or something like that. But like, seriously, like when you have an opportunity and you understand, you know, the weight of it, you can make the right decisions. So, you know, for me, it's great to continue to see young men and women, you know, take heed to the information that we're continuously giving, because that's what's going to help us be, you know, further off.
Yeah.
Is any I won't say organization or coach or any administrative position in your life ever criticized that? Because it's the old saying, a lot of coaches say it, make the main thing the main thing. Like, bro, you a top pick coming out, top player in college, you're going to be a top draft pick. Why are you worried about all that? Even now,
Man.
you playing chess, you buying cricket teams and shit. Like, you had a lot of criticism with that?
Man, you know, it's the fear of the unknown, man. Back in the day, they wanted us. They don't care how we spend our money until we spend it, to put ourselves in position of power. When I walked into rooms and I'm sitting with owners and they're laughing, they're not laughing in a condescending way. They're laughing in a great way, and they're telling me, "Oh my gosh, me and your owners were playing golf together, or we bought the Giants for $500." It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so proud that y'all feel that way, because I want to feel that way one day, where I can sit and I can say, I invested the hard work that I put in my life helped me continue to grow, and I was able to buy a team, or I was able to be a part of something that the world can witness. You know, so for me, it's like, yeah, being a player, people underestimate you. You know, like now we're trying to do different things. You know, we're not, the sport chose us, but it's not who we are, you know? But, I mean, yeah, I've got a lot of criticism about wanting to do more stuff, but that's how you know you're doing it right. If people weren't talking about it, you're not doing the right thing. So I just continue to know that none of it is possible without the sport. And I think that's where, you know, you could be naive, right? Yeah. We've seen it a bunch of times where guys think that, you know, the celebration is more important than the actual play, or, you know, the after party is more important than the game. But it'll never be that way. It'll always be what you do on the field. So I think as long as my mentality is still what it is, and it's for education and knowledge, no one can stop me but me.
Yeah.
Along with that, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned since, you know, being drafted?
I think one lesson, and it's an old lesson, is just like, you don't have to share your ideas. You know, I think I'm an idea guy, and that's where people judge you, right? Because I have a lot of ideas and I like to bounce them off people, but either they're gonna take them or they're gonna look at you a certain way because you thought of something they didn't, right? Whether it's a good positive way or negative way. And then leadership, you know, I think leadership is something that is in me, right? Since I was a kid, I've always kind of been gregarious and outgoing, and I think learning how to channel it and be a leader when times get tough and be a righteous leader, I think that's where sport and reality have to intertwine, because I just come to the, reality that everything off the field affects on the field. Your business affects your play, affects your at home, affects your spiritual life. It's all intertwined. And once you learn to live in the light 100% of the time, it'll breathe through you rather than trying to force it out. So living righteously is my term I use, the term I use around the locker room, because that's the reality of the moments we're in, right? Are you making the right decisions that match the goals that you have, and continuing to kind of harvest that and do it with a positive attitude?
Yeah, it's about your actions matching your priorities.
Yeah.
You said, there's sayings about priorities all the time, but it's show me where you spend your time, and you've shown me your priorities, right? What your goals are and how are you sowing into those goals. And part of being able to give back to a community is having a platform, and also that platform providing for you monetarily.
Yeah.
In January or so, you were asked about what happened with Saquon. And this was before he became a Philadelphia Eagle. We obviously all got to see how that unfolded in the offseason through offseason Hard Knocks. And you said you thought Daniel earned and deserved his money. But at the time, you said, I also would have wished that Saquon would have been taken care of. Why was it? Because to me, that's a leadership statement from a very young player. Why would you have wished that Saquon was taken care of?
Again, and this is where I've matured and I've gone through my, life understanding that, when you choose a side, you got to be ready to stand on it. So everything that goes viral is someone's opinion on something and things like that. So when I look at the Saquon Barkley situation, that man put a lot of work in, regardless of, now, I'm not the bookkeeper, right? So, I'm ignorant to the deals and things like that on who's negotiating, who's holding out and things like that. But from a player perspective and the people, right? Let's say if this is a democracy, right? The people were out. It's like Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence, what he says goes, and it's not because he get paid the most. It's not because he the coolest guy. It's because we see the work that he puts in every game. And it's just you don't take anything from Daniel. That's our quarterback. Of course, he deserves every penny that he gets, and he's gonna get, and he's gonna lead us to do great things. The running back position, and me personally, it's tough, man. It's that sacrificial lamb, right? It's the guys who he's getting the ball 30 times a game. We're watching, I'm on the plane sitting next to him, seeing how beat up he is after a win or a loss. Seeing whether he gets the ball or he doesn't get the ball, he's still beat up because there are so many guys coming after him. So it's when you're in that sport and you're playing for the guys next to you, it hurts when you know that the heart and soul of your team is not, he doesn't feel that he's getting treated, regardless of really what I feel about it, because it's not my money. It's not going to affect me either way. But it's you feel for your teammates. I know across the NFL, it was possibly a time where running backs were going to hold out. And for me, I was waiting on it because I was going to be right with him. Because I understand when you're a guy on the field, that put a lot of work. Even our linebacker, Bobby Okereke, you see how many plays he's made. If you see what he did last year, he should have been in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Yep. And that irritated me. Now I'm ready to go win. And we talked about, let's go win the Super Bowl for Bobby, let's go win it for Daniel, let's go win it for the dudes, for Dex, or the dudes who have been here putting in the work and, just showing it, to wear it on their sleeve. So, hey, it's neither here nor there. It's just, I like to be a guy who stands up for what's right morally. Granted, business and everything else always trumps, because business is what keeps the lights on, so.
Yeah, money talks, and I don't think it's not my position in even the job I have or being a former player or yours to count pockets.
Yeah.
But I do think there's always something to be said for players in the locker room who understand what those next to them mean.
Yeah.
Same situation for me. Troy Polamalu was fighting for a contract, and he'd sit in my room during training camp and tell me the numbers. Yeah. And when he tell me the numbers, I'd be like, I don't see how they don't try to pay you double that, right? But that was also the business, and I know that affected me. And obviously he was able to get his deal done, so we were able to play together. But so much, I think, of that, the owners, the executives don't understand, because we're closer to the people that wear the logos on the helmets than the people that wear the logo on polos. That's just the way it works. But for you now to have a guy like Dexter, who's, first of all, he big as this door.
Yeah.
Like we saw him today. You know what I mean? And now you add Brian Burns to the other side. You think about the ascension that you made. To me, just the natural growth of what your talent and hard work have brought you to. What are some of the expectations of what you guys can now create up front for the defense in New York?
I'm not just thanking God for Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, but the coaching. You know, I think with a good coach, you can do a lot of great things. You know, so we got some great coaches in here. Not saying we had great ones, you know, before, but like the way that these players are, as far as Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke, like we're definitely meshing together. Our individual skills are getting better. If you ask me, how do I feel compared to last year to now? I mean, last year's film is disgusting. That's the truth behind it, because it's like now you see what you can really do with the right tools, and we just got to keep doing it, man. Got to stay healthy. But I'm super excited. I think this is, you know, things happen for a reason, and as long as we keep honoring and living righteously, everything we want to happen is gonna happen.
Who's the best player on your defense?
Best player on my defense?
Dang, Freddie T.
The door.
Like the best player on my defense, like,
big man. Come on now.
I mean, it's like a five-way tie.
I want it to be that.
It's like a five-way tie right now.
I don't expect
What's the five-way defensive tie?
Five-way, if I had a bet and we came back 10 years later, off top, I'm going Dex, Bobby, Burns, me, and Tay Banks. I like Tay Banks, and that's
Tay can play, actually.
That's you know, he's still young. Obviously, I'm still working, so I ain't, you know. And there are guys definitely in the mix. There are more guys in the mix, so I know I left some out. Sorry, y'all. But like, I think Dex, Bobby, Burns, and myself personally, with the right coaching and the right stuff, can be Hall of Famers one day.
It takes
That's a big statement.
That's an amazing
like that.
answer. I think,
I like that.
especially for top pick type guys, right? Because you could have easily said, I'm the best.
Yeah.
But clearly you see that there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned looking back on last year, you say that shit it sucked.
Yeah.
You know, so in terms of expectations and goals for yourself for this season, what are some of those?
Man, I'm trying to be the best defensive end in the run. In the run.
That sounds like that's for some media that's
in
outside.
the run and in the pass. Nah, because, you know, everybody always talking sacks, but it's like, are you setting the edge? Are you, you know, whatever. But I want to be an all-around four-down player. I want to help my team win. I want to win, and I want to get sacks. I want to get. I'm paid. I'm here to get sacks. That's what I want. I want a lot of them. I want them now. I want them tomorrow. I want them every day. Every time I'm here, I'm going for the record. Why am I going for the record? Because that's the most anybody has gotten, and I want the most.
Do those two guys that were taken ahead of you in the 22 draft, Hutchinson and Trayvon, do they motivate you to?
No.
You know,
No.
not at all.
Nobody motivates me but me. Because then what happens when I surpass them? Then I lose my motivation.
Nope. I don't
You know,
expect that to happen.
but like, you know, that's the thing with comparisons. Like, oh, if I compare, what happens when I supersede it? Then we just gonna find somebody like, and that's the thing, and that's my maturity thing, because it's like, when you see, I had a talk with Carmelo Anthony, right? And I asked him, like, you played in the league for however long, are you satisfied with what you did? Kobe is gone. Kobe passed away. They're still saying, oh, is he better than him? Is he better than him? Is he better than him? You realize it ain't gonna never stop. As long as we put these jerseys on, they gonna compare, they gonna put a stat to a stat, a number to a number. Those cats are gonna play great. They got drafted, they did that moment. Hopefully they got as big as goals as I got, and they gonna meet me up there. But other than that, I know that God only gave me the tools that I got, and everything else that I'm learning, I'm getting from people, I'm putting it together. But, only I gotta live in the house that I gotta build.
Yep.
Right.
And you talking about legacy. Well, I just stay in this building.
Yeah.
You got Stray, who got the record.
22 and a half.
Come on.
And then you got LT.
So somebody did it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody looking at me like, why he keep saying the record? Because somebody did it. You know what I'm saying?
And he be walking around here.
He did it. I didn't touch his hand. He did it. We palm to palm.
Yeah.
So I can do it.
And so Stray and LT, who's my favorite player. If I had a Rottweiler named LT when I got in the league, first thing I bought was a Rottweiler named Lawrence Taylor.
Why? Why'd you buy a Rottweiler?
I wanted a Rottweiler and I was rich. That's kind of
man, it's not too many rich people who buy Rottweiler.
Do you think it should have been another dog?
No, I think that, you
You a Labradoodle guy?
No, we just don't have time for dogs. So I'm just wondering, you buy a Rottweiler, he just a junkyard dog in the back. He eat when you say he eat.
Yeah, he was struggling sometimes. He got a little thin during the season.
I can tell, man. I know.
But just to have those guys, like you said, you done met Stray. I'm sure you might have met LT being around here. What do you do to get to that? You young, bro. It's number 3. What do you do to really get to saying work harder and the simple stuff? But what do you do to become that guy?
Man, you be available. You don't get hurt.
Yep.
You win games, and you run to the ball. That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer. And that's what I had to realize. There's no secret sauce. I went to LT. I said, man, what's the secret? He said, damn well there ain't no secret. I run to that ball. I don't care if everybody, and there's some players that say, I did my job. My job is whoever got the ball. For real. And that's the mentality that I did not have, that I had to open my eyes and look myself in the mirror and say, if you really want to be the greatest, that's what you got to do. And there's no way around it. There's nothing else. I don't care how many pass rush moves you got. It don't matter. You got to run to that ball, and you got to go get that ball every play. And if Burns think he finna get the sack, I got to get it before him. How? By running to that ball just faster than him. Right. Deck's going to get there. He going to go through some people. If I got to go around him, it better be faster than he go through him. And we working together, but we got to continue to push each other in accountability, and that's the living righteous. When you put that tape on, is it going to be disgusting? How many more years can I look back and say that was disgusting?
That's real.
There's not. You look at a dude like Aaron Donald. He went 10 years, 10 Pro Bowls. It's my 3rd year in. I haven't been to one. How many more before my legacy has changed? How many? We don't have more time, so you got to do it. Today.
Well, I think the thing is the legacy has to start. Right, and I think it starts with effort. That's a part of the legacy. When you think about the great defensive players, they're all hunters, right? They hunt the ball the entire time. And, I think that's the dog mentality. But was it Lawrence Taylor that said pack of wild dogs? That was his mentality. But it's also you got to have them around the building to win. I don't know nothing about being a top 10 pick, Fred, clearly, or being picked at all. I do understand that.
Damn.
Okay, that's enough.
Man, y'all keep going back on it. I thought y'all successful now, man.
They do it all the time.
Probably leave the past in the past.
But that's the thing. It's not the past. Sometimes it's okay that it reminds you, right? Because RC works his ass off because of that. That's where his mentality comes from. He was the underdog. He wasn't drafted.
I'm right in the middle, man. I feel like if you're living in the past, you ain't got no motion. You know what I'm saying? Anybody keep bringing up your past, man, talk about the money in my pocket right now. Talk about what I'm doing today.
Here's the good thing, Kayvon. It's for us though. It's not about money, right? It's about the fact that you all have a different route to whatever your destination is, right? My place ain't his place. His place ain't my place. You mentioned the foundation you're building your house on. My thing was always, as long as my house is comfortable for me, I don't care what the house down the street looks like, right? But in order for me to get where I got 13 years in, I had to play with other people who had a like mindset. And that was both offensively and defensively. Y'all first round pick this year is Malik Nabers. I've been watching him play football since he was in high school. I'm from Louisiana. He's from right there in Louisiana. He seemed to bring whatever attitude made him a great player in college to New York. What are some of the things you've seen from Malik so far through OTAs and camp that make you believe he's a great addition to this team?
Oh, I'd say the good thing is he don't talk much. That's the great thing. You know, when you get a guy who's that good, and I'm not, you know, I'm the last guy who's gonna tell somebody they good just because nothing's ever good enough. But that young man is he's a baller, and he didn't come in with nothing to say, you know, and that's tough, obviously. And I'm a guy who came in with something to say. So you talk about, you know, the impact he's having is strictly through play. It's strictly through, you know, how he's gonna contribute to the team. I think he's gonna ascend into a leadership role eventually when his time is right, when he feels ready. But I think it's seeing the electricity, you know. I think when you play defense, for me, you know, specifically, sometimes you feel okay when defense get beat going against the ones. You know, when you see a big catch, sometimes it's like, all right, we battling now.
Yeah, they got to score sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you see him going up making a catch, when you see these things, it's inspiring. You know, so being out there with him, I mean, I think he's gonna continue to get better, and he's gonna continue to make the guys around him better, and all the guys around him are gonna make him better, and we're definitely a different team than we were last year.
Coach D, what do y'all got to do to keep the weight off him? Because he say he gonna put it back on. I got one favor.
You asked him, man, but
I want y'all to keep him slim, man. He looks great.
Hey. Yes, hey. Hey, man. Hey, health is wealth, man. Health is wealth.
You say you don't count a man's pockets, you can't count a man's scale. That man do what he wants.
Man,
I mean, but I'm sure, look, leadership inspire. Like, you can inspire him to stay slim and trim, man. Like,
hey, man, if we win, I don't care what size he is.
Hey, that's real talk.
I don't care what.
Hey, that's real talk.
What about Daves as a coach? Anybody played for him, love him. He was in Buffalo.
good
I was in Miami. He was in Miami for a while. But Coach of the Year 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then the last year, you know, team struggled, so now people start questioning. You know how this league is. But you done been with him both his years. Mm-hmm. How is he as a coach?
You know, I think coaching, teaching, parenting, any form of mentorship is like a combination of good information, bad information, and ego, right? It's all older people wanting to tell younger people either what they went through, what's important, you know, what's actually good information, you know, and it's like he's a guy who just sticks to good information, and that's it. That's it. It's a lot of coaches, whether you're in college, it's like all of the, what are we doing up downs for? And we're in the league, so we're not really doing it, but it's like, even in high school, it's like, what are we doing it for? Why are we doing this? And that was my thing, why I got backlash, because I want to know, why am I doing this? And he tells you why, and you know why. And it's simple, where there's not, oh, you got to run 5 gassers because you didn't know to play. How is that going to help me learn to play, right? Just the translation of information is a lot more direct, and it's, I'm not going to say lighthearted, but it's a job. Right, he's here, we're all sophisticated professionals, you know, that have to get their job done. He understands that, and he keeps it light, right? This is obviously, you know, when you're here for 20 weeks, 25 weeks, it can get, the building can get kind of gray. So he continues to uplift the building and continue to let light shine in and let players be players.
What was more difficult for you, to have an early injury your rookie year, sort of have to work your way into making an impact individually, or having a year where we saw the talent that made you the number 5 overall pick, we saw the statistics go up, but your team struggled? What was more difficult?
Man, losing sucks. Okay, that's just, you know, let's get that out the way now. But losing and sucking sucks. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, granted, if you win, and people lie all the time. If we win and I don't play good, I'm happy. They're lying. That's not true. If you're a competitor, you want to play good at all times. So for me, the sacks and the numbers don't matter, but if I play good, I can sleep at night. So when we were 4 game, you know, when I had 4 sacks, I was sleeping at night because they weren't coming, but I was playing good. As long as I just kept getting better, it was gonna come. And I knew that and I understand that going in. You know, you got guys like Michael Strahan, you got guys, you know, coaches and things who are keep feeding me positivity, knowing that I'm playing good and I'm doing things the right way. So that was okay. Now when we start losing,
so the question is this though, right? You're talking, and I'm 100% with you. I've left games that we have won and been in the worst mood, right? Because I'm glad we got the W, but I know that when we cut this film on, that ain't what I'm supposed to look like. That's not the way I'm supposed to be, right? But there's the other side of that too now. There's the dude that I've watched walk out of the locker room, know he played a great game. Let's say he a DB, he got 12 tackles, 2 picks, 2 PBUs, a fumble recovery, but we still take the L and they bounce onto the plane feeling real good about themselves.
yeah, that's weak. That's weak too.
So I'm saying last year, you played extremely well, but the team struggled. What was the feeling for you individually?
It's still weak. Like for me, and we laugh all day, like pressures, this is just a correlation. Pressures are weak. If you ain't getting a strip sack, I don't care about no pressure. You know? If you're not winning, I don't care about what stat line you had. You can, this basketball, you go 40, 10, and 10. Y'all lost. We partying. I don't care about that, you know? Yeah. But from the team perspective, it was just constantly just seeing where I could get better. And I think that was the real hard part, is because now it's like, okay, I'm doing good, but something's not clicking.
Yep.
Right? And that's where I had to reevaluate my leadership. I had to reevaluate who I was, my identity as a part of this collective, right? How I can impact it. Me, I feel like I'm a leader, and I felt like my second year, people didn't look at me as a leader, so I wasn't able to affect, you know, the defense or the people around me the way that I envisioned in my head. So now it's like, okay, there's more I can do. I can be more intentional with my interactions. I can be more intentional with how I analyze. I got 11.5 sacks. That's off talent. Mm-hmm. That was talent. But when you click on that film, there's some style and there's some identity that you don't want on there. Yep. You know? There's some stuff that's, when you watch the tape, it's like, yeah, okay, you got 2 sacks, but that's not greatness. And that's kind of, that the word greatness, that's my word, because it's like, that stops you from doing bad things and that continues to keep you doing good things. Like, if you're not doing something that's conducive to greatness, what are you doing? So for me, it was like, I had to realize, like, let me have a real conversation. Like, 11.5, is that greatness? No, I had 0 sacks in the last 5 games. That's not greatness. That ain't what you want to do.
Along this conversation, how you feel about the guy that win or loss, play good or play bad?
Oh, Lord.
You got the table already reserved on Sunday night. I got the bottle of Hennessy already in the cooler. You know what I'm saying? I might already have the second table reserved at the late night spot. Like,
so that's why people don't like me, because I'm the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm not killing nobody if I win. I'm not killing nobody if I lose. I'm okay in here. You know, and that's the living righteously thing that you got to live by, because if you do it the right way, if you did everything you could do, you could sleep at night.
It's real.
Right? So for me, I'm even. So yeah, you're right. I do be, you know, hey, so what, we still going to dinner or no? Is it too early? Hey,
is it too early to ask?
Is it too early to ask? We're gonna play. I made the reservation. Is it too soon? My bad.
I do have this question though, right? Because I think there's a time for all of us where certain things click. And I asked you the question about when you were leaving college, that sometimes your effort was questioned. Mm-hmm. You self-admittedly on the show said, hey, now I've learned I have to go hunt the ball in this way. Mm-hmm. I have to chase the ball in this way. Does that mean, though, you do look back at, like you said, some of the film isn't greatness, you have looked back at some of your effort or at some of the ways that you've played, mm-hmm. and you have had to change maybe some of the habits and characteristics to help you be better?
So I agree 100%. And I think, and it's funny because it's all player, but I want to be a mentor. I want to be a coach. I want to be a person who helps young people, and habits are created through practice, which is led by coaching, right? So anytime you see something on tape, and definitely not putting it on anybody, but this is why I love my coach, Charlie Bullen is a fantastic coach. But when you see the level that we play at, it's because of a standard that's set from the top, that's carried out through me, Burns, through the rest of the guys showing. So it's like, for me, I had to realize that no matter what coaching staff is here, I have to play at a certain standard, right? And that was the kind of the epiphany that I had, and the understanding I had to come to. Like, if you want to be who you say you are, this is what it's going to take, regardless of all the moves, regardless of all the whatever. Hard work and discipline. It's really discipline and your habits are what's going to take you to the next level.
On October the 20th, number 26 will come back home in the divisional rivalry game, Saquon. Yeah. How do you expect the fans to receive him, and how will you guys receive him?
I mean, it's going to be here. There's going to be a lot of Philly fans probably, so it might be some fights in the stadium, to be honest. It might be some fights. It might be, big, but 2-6, that's my man, but I got a chip too. I got a chip on my shoulder. I got to get paid too. So when the Eagles come back, it's going to be old school. It's going to be smash mouth football. They're going to have to come meet us up front, and everything else going to take care of itself.
Right.
Did you get beat up practicing against Detroit? Because y'all threw hands.
Not me. Not me.
I saw some people get pieced up.
I know. You ain't C5. What they say, the shot that rang around the world, I had a couple punches that rang around the world. No, I'm just playing. Y'all. My last question, because I know we got to wrap. I don't condone fighting, man.
I know we got. I do.
See, but
sometimes you playing against other teams.
Why are we fighting,
is
right?
what it is.
Everybody's saying, I want to address that. Why are we fighting? What does fighting do for y'all? What is the fight? You fight for team chemistry.
Yep.
Really.
I agree.
You're fighting for respect. Now, the stupid stuff is whatever. We not ripping helmets off. Ain't nobody really trying to hurt nobody. But you're fighting to show your teammates that you're going to fight for them. So when you see a Daniel Jones get in, it does give a little more respect. When you see, your lineman, and that's another part that's funny. When I was a rookie, I was too tired. I'm like, shit, y'all can fight. I can't fight. I can't do it. And you realize, like, no, your teammates going to look at that. You better get in that fight. And I got fans sending me videos of people who wasn't in the fight, like, hold on, you need to check him. He wasn't in it.
Yeah, so my coach used to say, boys is holding the lantern.
Yeah.
Right, they stand outside the fight like this. We talked about it on the way over. One of the cats ran in with his hands like this. I was like, don't be that dude. If you that dude, stand on the side.
What's on the other side of 5 when you're shooting dice?
I don't know, Fred.
I know.
I didn't shoot dice.
9.
9, man. Oh, y'all.
I ain't gonna get to it too.
Come on.
When I went to
I ain't gonna get to it too.
When I went to private school, by the time I went to private school, we weren't shooting dice, Fred. When he went to Old Christian, I don't know what they was doing. Back to my last question. I know we got to go. I'm so sorry. One of the best videos.
My bad. Let me not cut you off. Yeah. I had to ask the coaches where was they at. Where was y'all at when the fights was going on? Talking about don't fight. My coach was right behind. He said, I was right behind you. He said, you was throwing punches? He said, hell no, I was trying to grab you.
You got an opportunity. Like, one of the best videos I've seen, man, is you purchasing your mother a home.
Yeah.
And you said we didn't have places to go that was like one central spot for holidays. What was it like to know that through her sacrifices as well, through your sacrifices, you were able to provide that for someone who sacrificed so much for you?
Man, it was amazing, but it was definitely more work than I thought it would be. I think that's the young part about it, man. You don't really realize, everything that encompasses the lifestyle that we're providing. So for me, it was definitely a blessing for my mom, and she loved it, and it was a great moment for us and my family. But now she has more of a burden, because now she got extra bedrooms, now she got extra space, and now it's like they're looking at her as if she's in the league, So it's been a constant, growth aspect between family. But I think it's positive. I think, when you get a certain amount of money, any amount, you go from surviving to living, you know? And I think for me and my community, I want to continue to push on, we know how to survive. Let's learn how to live. Because right now we just survive until the end of our life, right? We never actually get to live the abundance of, you know, the fruits.
Yeah, I always say, man, you don't want to just breathe until death. You want to live. Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. That was great. That's the way to end it. Yeah. Thank you, family.
New York taxes or California taxes?
I know. Hey, you said you didn't want to stay in LA because of taxes.
Jersey
nah, man. You know that's why I got to hit that second contract. So taxes don't matter.
Out here. They tax you over this way too. Chan, don't go pee yet. Cause I know you're trying to go pee, dog.
Chan,
take this picture,
man. Chan,
that baby ass bladder.
Oh man,
he peed
Get
in the
that
back
bladder
of the
out the way, man. Get in the middle, Chan.
Yeah, I'm not standing next to him. Appreciate you, brother. Been trying to get this done a while, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna go unsend my DM I sent you like 2 years ago.
Nah, yeah, it's cool.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision I can trust. Limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.